My name is Ryan, a 24-year-old graphic designer living in a small, bustling city apartment. On the surface, my life seems ordinary. Work, friends, and a relationship with my girlfriend Emma, who's a vivacious and confident woman with a flair for teasing me in ways I secretly adore. I've always had a playful curiosity about experimenting with appearance, especially through clothes and accessories, but I've never taken it seriously. I had dabbled in trying on different outfits in private, mostly for fun or to satisfy fleeting curiosity, but it was always a secret hobby I tucked away like a guilty pleasure. My friends think of me as a typical guy, laid back, a bit awkward, but creative. They have no idea about the side of me that relishes experimenting with feminine aesthetics. My fascination is rooted in a mix of humor, curiosity, and the thrill of transformation. I've always admired the confidence and charm that comes with embracing a different persona, even if only temporarily. But until now, I've never acted on it in a social or public setting. It all began one Friday evening at Emma's apartment. Her place was cozy, filled with warm lighting and eclectic decor that reflected her lively personality. I had come over after work, expecting a quiet night of Netflix and snacks, but Emma had other plans. Her vanity table, cluttered with makeup, hair accessories, and various wigs, caught my eye. I always teased myself about how seriously she took her beauty routine, and tonight, I couldn't resist a playful idea. Emma and I have a dynamic that mixes affection with playful teasing. She knows how to push buttons without crossing boundaries, and I secretly adore being the target of her mischievous humor. There's a sense of trust and intimacy between us, but also an unspoken curiosity. How far could I explore this playful side without judgment? Emma's confidence is both inspiring and intimidating. She exudes an aura that can make anyone feel shy or self-conscious, and yet I crave her attention, especially when she teases me about trying on her clothes or accessories. I knew that if I went along with one of her jokes, it could lead to unexpected consequences, both thrilling and terrifying. It was while rifling through her wig collection that the idea struck me. What if I just try one on for laughs? I thought. A fiery red wig caught my eye. A bold color, long curls, perfectly styled. I held it up to my head, imagining the dramatic effect. "Emma, watch this," I said, slipping it on. The moment it settled, I caught my reflection in her mirror. The face staring back wasn't exactly me, or maybe it was just transformed. The wig framed my face perfectly, softening my features, accentuating my eyes, and giving me a look I never imagined I could pull off. Emma burst out laughing, clapping her hands. "Oh my God, Ryan, you look incredible. That's hilarious and kinda hot." Her reaction was a mix of amusement and admiration, and I felt a strange rush. I had expected laughter, maybe a joke at my expense, but her words carried genuine excitement. It was as if a door had opened, revealing a side of me I hadn't allowed myself to enjoy publicly. I laughed along, but inside, my mind was racing. I had always found thrill in experimenting privately, but now, with Emma's teasing approval and that confident gaze, I felt exposed in a way that was both exhilarating and terrifying. The red wig didn't just change my appearance, it sparked a cascade of emotions. I felt vulnerability, curiosity, and a surprising sense of empowerment all at once. I wanted to hide, yet I also wanted to see how far I could take this, how people would react, how I would feel stepping into this persona fully. It was the beginning of a delicate balancing act between playfulness and seriousness, between secrecy and exposure, between embarrassment and confidence. That tiny, impulsive joke, slipping on a wig, was about to set off a chain of events that would transform not only my appearance, but also the way people perceived me and the way I perceived myself. Little did I know, this playful experiment wouldn't stay private. The thrill of transformation, the glow of Emma's approval, and the intoxicating feeling of embodying a new persona were just the first sparks. Soon, I would face situations where I'd have to navigate attention, judgment, and curiosity. Not just from Emma, but from everyone around me. For now, though, I was blissfully unaware. The reflection in the mirror smiled back at me, a bold, confident, and unexpectedly glamorous version of Ryan. I didn't know it yet, but that reflection would soon become the face everyone admired, teased, and talked about. My joke had just begun, and the consequences would be far bigger than I ever imagined. After that first playful moment with Emma, I couldn't stop thinking about the wig. It wasn't just a joke anymore. It sparked a thrilling curiosity inside me. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see myself with those red curls, walking with confidence, turning heads. But along with excitement came a gnawing fear. What if someone saw me like this? What if Emma's teasing turned into judgment, or worse, embarrassment? My heart raced at the thought of public exposure, yet the desire to explore this side of myself only grew stronger. I began sneaking small experiments at home, trying on the wig when Emma was in the kitchen, pairing it with her blouses, and practicing different poses in front of her mirror. Each moment brought a strange mix of exhilaration and anxiety, my pulse quickening with every glance at my reflection. The wig alone wasn't enough to transform me fully. I wanted to feel the persona completely, so I experimented with makeup. Emma's collection was extensive, shimmering eyeshadows, liquid lipsticks, and mascaras that made lashes look impossibly long. I hesitated at first, fumbling with the brushes, dabbing blush on my cheeks, and tracing my lips with a deep red lipstick. When I finally looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. The reflection was softer, more confident, more feminine. Wearing the wig, paired with a delicate blouse and jeans, I felt a sensation that was both foreign and intoxicating. My shoulders relaxed, my posture changed, and even my voice softened slightly as I practiced speaking in a lighter tone. It was a complete immersion into a persona that was thrillingly mine, yet borrowed from Emma's world. One evening, Emma mentioned she'd be out with friends later than expected. My heart leapt. I would have hours alone to experiment without interruption. I carefully closed the door, removed my usual clothes, and slid into one of Emma's dresses. Paired with the wig, heels, and carefully applied makeup, I looked like someone entirely new. I posed in front of the mirror, admiring the transformation. My reflection stared back, confident and radiant, but also teasing me with the unspoken truth. This side of me could easily be seen by others, and the stakes were growing. The suspense built with every knock on the door, every unexpected noise outside. Would a neighbor peek in? Would Emma return early? Every small sound made my heart race, and I found myself balancing excitement with fear of discovery. As I admired my new look, vulnerability set in. I wasn't just playing dress-up. I was exposing a hidden side of myself. The thrill of transformation was intoxicating, but I also felt naked in a psychological sense. Every glance at my reflection reminded me that this version of me could be judged, laughed at, or misunderstood. Yet, the vulnerability fueled the excitement. Each sway in the heels, each adjustment of the wig, each brush of my fingertips over the smooth fabric reminded me that I was stepping into a persona that was both daring and liberating. I wanted to hide, but I also wanted to show myself, just not to the wrong people. The suspense escalated when a knock came at the door. My pulse spiked. I froze, wig slightly askew, heels clicking softly as I tiptoed to peek through the peephole. It was just a delivery, yet the moment reminded me how fragile my secret world was. Every minor interruption became a test. I practiced walking with poise, adjusting the wig under pressure, and responding to imaginary interruptions. Each practice run sharpened my senses, making me both more confident in the transformation and more aware of the constant threat of exposure. The wig itself became a symbol of my dual life. In the mirror, I saw both Ryan and the transformed persona staring back at me. The curls framed my face, highlighting my eyes and cheekbones, while the dress softened my frame. The wig, the dress, the heels, they weren't just props. They were gateways into a side of me I had long ignored. I would often touch the wig, adjusting a curl or brushing it lightly, feeling a shiver of delight and tension. It represented both freedom and risk, a tangible connection between who I was and who I could be. Despite the secrecy, my connection with Emma grew stronger. Her encouragement, her laughter, and her subtle teasing created a safe space for me to explore. I realized that my playful experiments weren't just about aesthetics. They were about trust, intimacy, and discovering parts of myself that had been hidden for too long. I found myself looking forward to the next moment alone, the next chance to transform, to become someone both familiar and new. Each session in front of the mirror became an emotional journey, blending excitement, fear, and self-discovery. As I perfected my appearance, I started imagining what it would be like if someone outside Emma's apartment saw me. The thought sent a thrill through my body, fear and excitement intertwined. Would they recognize me as Ryan, or would they see the persona I had created? I realized that the transformation had consequences beyond the apartment. My secret life wasn't just private anymore. It had the potential to be shared, noticed, and admired. The suspense of public exposure, whether accidental or intentional, became an irresistible lure, pulling me deeper into this experiment with my identity. By the end of the week, I was no longer just trying on the wig as a joke. I had created a routine, an alternate persona that allowed me to explore confidence, beauty, and vulnerability in ways I never thought possible. Every glance in the mirror, every sway in the heels, every flick of the wig was a reminder that this was just the beginning. The build-up set the stage for high stakes, unexpected visitors, Emma's playful interference, and the tantalizing possibility of being seen by others. My secret world was expanding, and with it, the suspense, the drama, and the potential for both disaster and exhilaration. The thrill of my transformation had grown into a habit I couldn't ignore. I had mastered the wig, makeup, and persona, but I soon discovered that the more comfortable I became, the higher the stakes. One evening, as I was practicing my posture and voice in the mirror, I heard the faintest creak from the hallway. Emma must have returned early. Panic surged through me. I was in one of her flowing dresses, heels clicking softly against the hardwood, the red wig perfectly in place. My pulse raced, hands trembling slightly as I tried to adjust the curls without making a sound. Before I could think, the door handle turned. My heart jumped. Emma peeked in, smiling mischievously. "Hey, you're really taking that wig seriously, huh?" she teased. I froze, unsure whether to laugh or panic. Her unexpected return transformed a private indulgence into a suspenseful showdown. My legs wobbled in the heels, my breathing quickened, and a wave of vulnerability washed over me. I realized that maintaining this persona wasn't just about looking the part. It required grace, poise, and constant vigilance. One misstep could expose my secret completely. Emma's eyes sparkled with amusement, but I sensed she was testing me. Every word she spoke felt like a challenge, every glance a subtle measurement of how far I would go. My internal conflict surged. Should I remain in character, risking embarrassment, or retreat into my usual self and lose the thrill I craved? The tension was almost unbearable, a mix of fear, excitement, and desire to impress. I adjusted the wig, smoothed the dress, and attempted a smile, hoping she would find my effort charming rather than ridiculous. Later that week, the suspense intensified when a neighbor unexpectedly knocked at the door. I was mid-transformation, carefully applying blush, heels perched precariously on the floor. My pulse spiked. I quickly grabbed a robe, draping it over the dress, but the neighbor was persistent. "Hey, Ryan, just wanted to borrow some sugar." I struggled to maintain composure, my mind racing. Should I reveal the persona I had crafted, or stay hidden behind the robe? I realized that each encounter was a test of my courage, creativity, and ability to navigate the unpredictable challenges of my secret world. The tipping point came when Emma suggested we attend a friend's casual gathering. "Why don't you wear the wig tonight?" she said, grinning. "It's so good on you." Fear and exhilaration collided inside me. The idea of stepping into public as this transformed version of myself was both thrilling and terrifying. What if people recognized me? What if I tripped, spoke awkwardly, or lost control? I spent hours preparing, perfecting every detail, the wig, makeup, dress, and even the way I walked. Each adjustment was a reminder that this was no longer a private game. It was a high-stakes performance. Before leaving, I paused in front of the mirror. The reflection staring back was mesmerizing. My features softened. The wig framed my face perfectly, and my posture exuded confidence I rarely felt as Ryan. Yet, the reflection also reminded me of the fragility of this persona. One fall, One slip, one misstep could shatter the illusion. The wig wasn't just hair. It was a mask, a symbol of duality, and a tangible representation of the tension between private fantasy and public reality. I took a deep breath, adjusted the wig, and stepped into the night, aware that each step could either solidify my newfound confidence or expose my secret completely. At the gathering, reactions were immediate. Friends commented on my new look, some teasing, some genuinely impressed. Each compliment was a rush, but also a reminder of how visible my secret had become. I found myself navigating conversations with heightened awareness. Every gesture, every laugh, every tilt of the head required careful calculation. The thrill of acceptance mingled with the terror of discovery. A sudden spill of wine at the table sent me lunging to help, heels slipping slightly on the floor. I caught myself just in time, heart pounding, palms sweaty. The incident was minor, yet it magnified the precarious balance I had to maintain between charm and catastrophe. Midway through the evening, Emma nudged me toward a friend's camera. "Come on, let's get a picture," she said. Panic surged. I wasn't ready for photographs. I posed, careful to maintain poise, but a strand of the wig slipped across my forehead. My mind raced. Would the photographer notice? Would this photo end up online, exposing the secret persona I had cultivated? The camera clicked, freezing the moment, and I felt the weight of suspense pressing down. Every second was a delicate dance between appearing flawless and hiding vulnerability. After the photo, I retreated to the corner, adjusting the wig and breathing heavily. The adrenaline was overwhelming. I realized that my journey wasn't just about the wig or the makeup. It was about confronting fear, embracing vulnerability, and stepping into a persona that challenged everything I thought I knew about myself. The night continued with moments of laughter, flirtation, and anxiety. Each interaction tested my ability to remain in character, to maintain composure, and to enjoy the thrill without succumbing to panic. By the end of the evening, I had learned something profound. Transformation wasn't just about appearance. It was about courage, self-expression, and navigating the delicate line between exposure and empowerment. As we left the gathering, I noticed notifications on my phone. Photos from the event had already circulated among friends, with comments praising my amazing hair and new look. My pulse raced. Was this the beginning of public admiration or public scrutiny? I glanced at Emma, who smiled knowingly and felt a mix of exhilaration and dread. The persona I had created was no longer confined to the privacy of her apartment. It was out in the world, admired, photographed, and noticed. The night ended with my reflection in the car mirror, red curls framing a face that was both Ryan and someone entirely new. I knew that the real suspense was just beginning, and every step forward would carry the thrill and the risk of exposure. The car ride home was quiet, but my mind raced. Every compliment, every glance, every photograph from the gathering replayed in my head like a high-stakes montage. Emma sat beside me, her smile calm and knowing, as if she had orchestrated every reaction. I tried to process the whirlwind of emotions, exhilaration, anxiety, and fear, all tangled together. The wig still perched perfectly on my head, curls cascading over my shoulders, but it now felt like more than a playful disguise. It was a symbol of the persona I had stepped into, one that was suddenly visible to the world. When we pulled into the driveway, I noticed my phone buzzing incessantly. Notifications from social media and messages from friends popped up, many tagged with photos from the gathering. The excitement was palpable, but so was the panic. I realized that the playful joke of wearing the wig had grown into something uncontrollable. People were genuinely captivated by this new version of me, but would they recognize me as Ryan? Or would this persona become something permanent in their eyes? Emma glanced at me, raising an eyebrow. "Looks like the world loves your new look," she said casually, but her tone carried a subtle challenge. "Are you ready for the attention?" I walked inside, still in the wig and dress, and paused in front of the mirror. My reflection stared back, red curls framing my face, eyes wide with both excitement and fear. I felt the weight of choice pressing down: embrace this persona fully and risk exposure, or retreat into my old self and lose the thrill of newfound confidence. The sensation of vulnerability was intoxicating. I could almost feel the wig transforming my identity, every curl amplifying the tension between who I was and who I could be. As I adjusted the wig one last time, a single curl slipped into my eyes. I laughed nervously, realizing how delicate this balance was. The wig, once a joke, had become a tangible reminder of my dual life, a mask that hid my insecurities, but revealed a side of me I had never explored. I touched my hair, feeling both comforted and anxious. This simple object had taken control of my evening, my confidence, and possibly my future. Suddenly, my phone buzzed again. A direct message notification caught my eye. It was from someone I didn't expect to notice, someone whose judgment mattered deeply to me. My heart raced as I opened it. The message read, "Wow, didn't know you could pull this off. Let's talk." My pulse quickened. Who could it be? A friend? Someone from the gathering? Or someone else entirely? The message hinted at intrigue, attention, and the possibility of a revelation that could change everything. I glanced at Emma, who merely smirked. "Looks like your secret might not stay secret for long," she said. My reflection in the mirror caught my gaze once more, red curls, wide eyes, a smile tinged with apprehension. The persona I had embraced was no longer mine alone. The world was starting to notice, and I had no idea what would come next. I sat on the edge of the bed, wig in place, fingers nervously playing with the curls. The message, Emma's knowing smile, and the lingering excitement of the night formed a perfect storm of uncertainty. Would I be admired, exposed, or challenged? Could I control this persona, or was it already taking control of me?